Good afternoon. Let's hope everybody is doing well. So, you guys are new here. I will tell you we are doing things a little different today. So we're out here in Medellin, Colombia. We go live every day to give you guys information on moving abroad. The information that is that we did not have, and many of my friends that are expats as well did not have. So we have had a myriad of different experts on that 100% are designed to help you with the ability to move abroad. So our experts range from people in real estate, people in immigration. Real estate definitely covers both short-term rentals, property investment, things of that nature. We've got Spanish experts there, people that can help you not only get your nomad visa or whatever visa you're looking to qualify for, but realistically, we've got some people that also will be almost like a personal assistant here. And when I say that, the visa process, going to the immigration office, depends on what kind of level of Spanish you have, is the ease of what it is that you will get around, once this process comes with you moving abroad. So, number of different experts we have here. I will tell you today is a special day, which is we're on a special time. Excuse me. Reason being is because we are talking to somebody that has made the move abroad with children. That is a big topic. You guys might be ready to go, but you're like really concerned. What about my children? What does that look like? Are they going to be safe? Are there other children that are out there? All of these things are relative when it comes down to, is this something that I can do? So I do not have any children. I have a little dog. His name is Nino. But I did want to make certain that people that are looking to bring their children and move abroad, whether you're moving to Colombia, Medellin specifically, you might hear some tips that you might need anytime you're considering moving abroad with kids. We're going to have Sherelle on. Hopefully, she'll be joining in a little minute. But the opportunity to ask questions from somebody that has already made the move, and literally packed up, her family and said, "Hey, we're out of here." What does that look like? I know so many people are always concerned with safety and what does life look like abroad, because realistically, when I get a lot of people that come to Colombia for the first time, especially somewhere as beautiful as Medellin, they're like, this doesn't look like what it was that they told me it looked like, or it was. My mom said that and everything when she came out here, and it's true. You know why? Because they don't necessarily want you to. They want you to go to places, but they don't want you to like leave. And not saying that like Medellin is the only place that you can go to live abroad. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they are willing to show you what it is that they want to show you. Medellin is often shown and told of us from a story of things that are 25, 30 plus, almost 40 years old, and people are still running with that particular narrative. Whereas the truth and what is actually happening is a lot of beautiful things here in Colombia. Um, you know, I know so many people talk and think about, what their kids are going through now in the United States. You know, um, Food quality is terrible. All my parents that pack lunches. Think about, I think it was like half the year we couldn't even, you couldn't eat lunch meat. So and then we American food. When you talk about what they give your child when you take them to daycare or school, it's not necessarily good quality either. So a lot of people are like starting to be concerned with that. The more people are finding out and saying, "Well, I'm going to shop organic," and then finding out organic might be a paid label. So what do you feed your family? How does that look? The cost of raising children in the United States. So many people do not have children because it costs so much, and the people that do have children are the ones that are telling us like, "Hey, it costs a lot." bear with me. I am on a bunch of different platforms right now. However, I need to use my phone to check in on Sherelle, make sure that she has anything. So TikTok, you might lose me, but I will be right back. Realistically, had to do this in the afternoon time because 6:30 it's time for start to get the kids wind down for bed. These kids, I will tell you, the ones that I have been in contact with out here, I feel like they're living their actual best life. When I go back home and I go back home and I see kids out, or even when I'm on what do you call that, vacation, and I'm seeing American kids, I'm like, these kids are they're kind of different. I don't remember the kids looking like this. And when I say looking like this, I mean so many kids don't play with other kids, and when they do, it's on the internet. So many kids, are like stuck to a tablet, or you see them out in public with glued to the tablet with headphones on, and literally, that is normal for children in the United States. Here on the state. That's literally normal. One of y'all kids might be that, or their friends may be that. And it's like there's so much entertainment. There's so much stuff for the kids that
No, I'm okay.
there we
Thank
go.
you.
Perfect. How are you doing?
Hi. Oh,
Can you hear me okay?
I don't hear anything.
Let me get the volume up on my end.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear
Can you
me
hear
okay?
me?
Yes, I can.
I can't hear you. You know
You
what?
can't hear me.
Let me try.
Hmm. Interesting. Let's see about that.
Okay, I can hear you without my headphones. Can you hear
Ah,
me?
you can hear me now. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't. I'm late because I was looking for these things and it doesn't even work anyway. So sorry about that.
It is all good. It is all good. I appreciate you for joining. I appreciate you for joining. I was literally just telling them, bear with me one second because there's some echo here. Can't be changed while recording. Hmm. Can you turn? Let me turn you down. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still getting that feedback though. That is the one
I wonder
thing
if
I
it's
don't
like
want
because
any
my phone
feedback
is
to
next
be.
to my laptop. Is it making a difference when I put my phone away?
Let's see something. Bear with me, guys. Just want to make certain that the feedback isn't too bad. Okay, so that is me. So we're good there. Okay, and they can see you on Facebook. Testing, testing. Yeah, you guys can hear me. Hopefully this mic just doesn't start a new recording due to a chain. That's what it is.
Did the feedback just start when I came on?
Yep.
Uh-oh. Do you want me to come out and then join back in?
Yeah, if you can drop off and try to come back on again,
Okay, I'll do that.
that'd be perfect.
Hmm.
You guys, I appreciate you, the ones that are watching, staying tuned. Just want to make certain that when I speak, it won't be like an audio or an extra version of me. But if you guys are watching on TikTok, a couple ways you can see us. You can go to Black Expat Life in Colombia. She is on. You can see her. You guys can ask questions there. You can also go to Instagram. Instagram is RJ Mood. We are also on X. That one's a little bit longer. So if you're watching on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, shout out to y'all. But we are talking about living abroad with children. You're back.
Yes, I'm back. Is the
Okay,
audio better?
cool. I don't hear the echo anymore.
Okay, so it was me. I was the culprit. Sorry about that.
Nah, you're good. You're perfectly fine. I just wanted to make certain because we'll go through this and then we'll go listen to audio and be like, not good. Some
Yes.
people are live, so we're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram right now. So
Yay. Hi,
you are being the
everybody.
you are being the first, because I've been getting this question regarding, well, what about children? I've got kids. What does it like living abroad? Not even just down to Medellin, but just moving abroad. I tell people all the time that there's definitely some differences. I would say, just not even as a parent, but just from my eyeballs. Uh, but there's some things in the United States that we've become used to
Hmm.
that we have to get almost unused to again, because that's not how the United States works. So before we get into this, I kind of want to make certain everybody knows who we're talking to, give you guys an understanding of not only Sherelle, but what her family looks like, where they've come from, what made them even decide to move. Okay, please, let's get into it.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you again for having me, Mr. RJ Mood. And folks who are tuning in, hi, how are you? Yes, my name is Sherelle, last name Primo. I'm currently residing in Medellin, Colombia, with my two children. My son, I have two children, a boy and a girl. My son is 4 years old, and my daughter is three. And my husband. So it's four of us. We're the four primo pack. We're a little quartet traveling around. We're all originally from New York City, Brooklyn to be specific. And yeah, we left the States to come to Colombia. We've been here. This is our second time in Colombia. We've been in Colombia before. We came last year, but we stayed in Cartagena for about 2 months and then only came to Medellin for about a month. We did that. And we were like, oh my gosh, we love Medellin. We wanted to come here longer, so we came here longer. But this is our second time traveling kind of mid to long term as a family. Last year we did it for 6 months. Like I said, we started in Cartagena, we came to Medellin, then we went to Panama, then went to Peru. I could talk a little bit about all those stops as well. I don't know if we're focusing on Medellin specifically. Um,
No, just make sure it's not even a focus on Medellin, because so many people watch this and maybe just looking to move abroad. So we do say, hey, this is what I can tell you specifically about Medellin and or other places, because the differences are,
yeah,
there could be definitely different, but you
definitely.
can definitely speak from a broad situation, because Colombia might not be the place for everybody.
Right, right. 100%. Okay, well, great. So I'll definitely give it to you guys straight from a broad spectrum. Um, so yeah, we did that for 6 months last year and then went back to the States for the summertime because our whole thing is ditching winter. We hate the winter, we hate the cold. I'm sure a lot of you
Shout out to
can
y'all.
relate. So we went back for the summer, for the spring summer, and we were there and then we left again last August, came back to Medellin, and we've been here since the end of August, August 29th, I believe. And now we're cruising
Count
to
them
Christmas.
days.
So that gives you an idea of how long we've been here.
Hmm.
And we love it. Our original idea to move abroad as a family, everyone thought we were nuts. Everyone thought we were crazy. Because when we had this idea, like my kids were one and two, as opposed to three and four now. Um, just a little background on myself. My husband and I, we've been backpackers since 2018. We backpacked throughout Southeast Asia, Africa, Europe, and we love long term traveling. Obviously, knock on wood, when we're able to, we've been blessed to be able to do that throughout different periods in our lives. And so when we had kids, we knew that we wanted to do it again. We just didn't know what it would look like, and we didn't know like the time frame because when we had kids, my son was born during COVID and the pandemic, and then my daughter was born.
COVID baby.
Yeah, my son was a COVID baby, my daughter was a quarantine baby, so they were like back to back. So it was a little hard, 2020 and 2021. So it was really hard to like think about leaving at that point, but we knew when the world opened up that we definitely wanted to get out of New York City. We were, you're in the shoebox in Brooklyn, and you're ready to dip. And actually, no, I take that back. We weren't even in the shoebox in Brooklyn. At that point, we had just purchased a house in Queens and we were fixing it up ourselves because obviously there were no contractors. Nobody was going to anybody's house for the full year and a half, 2 years. So we were fixing it up and then we moved in and then we were happy, but we wanted more. We knew we wanted to like see the world. So when my husband started his company and was able to work fully remote, that's exactly what we put on our mood boards. See what I did there, RJ Mood?
I
We
like
put
it.
it, we put it on our mood boards, and we were like, okay, let's make this a goal. We made a list of all the things that needed to happen in order for us to really make this a reality for ourselves. So what does that look like? Downsizing, putting things in storage, selling things off, kind of just cutting ties with things, ending gym memberships, all that stuff, like down to the nitty gritty.
Got it.
Um, but yeah, once we kind of checked off all of our boxes on our checklist for all the things that we needed to do to be able to go and be as free as possible, that's what we did. Um, so we sold our house like right after we bought it. We sold it, put it on the market, sold in like 5 days. That's to tell you, like God knew that this was God's plan. Like we put it on
Nah,
the
that's real.
market. We put it on the market. God was like, yes, I love this for y'all. Let me make it easy and get you a buyer who's gonna give you more than what you want.
Love.
And
That's love.
we did that. We packed up everything in a U-Haul, literally left our house Martin Luther King Day in 2023.
That's a sign also on
I know,
on a bunch of levels. Like everything is like right into alignment.
you
Like,
know what I'm saying? Like everything was
mhm.
really aligned for us. It all really worked out. We left, yeah, and then we just U-Hauled to my mom's place in Maryland. My mom lives in Maryland, and so we were with her until our flight to Cartagena, which was a couple of months down the line. That allowed us to kind of like get ourselves together,
Mhm.
throw things away because we accumulated so much stuff. Obviously a lot of
You
people who
found
are
out you were a hoarder.
yeah, I did. That's a hard truth. I did.
I tell people all the time,
There's no way
moving
around.
from state to state, you find out you may be like 50% hoarder. But when you go to move out of the United States and you have to get down to every person got 2 bags and that's it, you're
Yeah,
like, when did we buy all of these things?
yeah. I was just like, we were. This is where the money went. Like, you know what I
Yep,
mean? This is where
yep.
this is where the money went. So yeah, we put a bunch of stuff in my mom's garage for storage. Obviously, it's just a process of condensing, continuing to condense. And at that point, from a parent standpoint with our kids, making sure that they were comfortable. Our kids are like, they're really riders. They're riders. They're like, all right, mom, dad, if y'all good, we good. Wherever y'all go, we gonna be happy. Kids are super resilient. A lot of the times when it comes to change, is the adults are it's the parents who are more anxious than anything.
Hmm.
But my husband and I had a great attitude about moving, and we shared that with our kids. Like at this point, they're 2 and 3, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we're excited to go see the world. We're excited because like every day we would talk about it. We'd buy like travel books for our kids, and like my son had like airplanes to like make and stuff. Just like yeah, we're going on a trip. We're going on a really long trip. Like so our kids were really excited to move at that point too and go abroad. And like my kids would be like, "Oh, Colombia!" Like they knew where we were going. We didn't hide anything. We weren't just like, oh yeah, you're coming with us, you're not going to know anything. So the kids were happy, we were happy. Our immediate family kind of thought we were nuts, but they also know that we're kind of nuts in general.
Yep,
So
yep. It takes a little crazy to say, let me break away from everything that I know.
yeah,
America doesn't necessarily raise you unless you are privileged in that way, and that could be privilege from finances or privilege from somebody else that have already traveled. But
yeah,
so many of us haven't done that. So the thought process of actually going to leave, you're from New York, I'm from Philadelphia, I, leaving the winter and cold behind, let alone like I went and moved into places that were warm, Atlanta and South Florida, but then even that ran its course where I was like, I'm just running out of options in this country where I see myself. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, I completely agree. And from a parent standpoint, my husband and I, we were always the type of folks that wanted to let our kids see that like let our kids see how vast and expansive the world is. We didn't want to just we're not two people that we don't box ourselves. We don't put
Yep.
ourselves in a little box. Sorry, that's a circle, but we don't put ourselves in a little box. And we never have. And we always wanted our kids to dream big, be big, take up space,
Love
see
it.
the world. especially as two black kids, you know what I
Mm,
mean? We wanted, that's a whole nother conversation, right? But we wanted our kids to be diverse in all settings, like mindset, see the world, throw yourself in different cultures. I grew up like that. My mom, you know, she allowed my brother and I to be all over the place. We were in Europe, we were in the Caribbean since
that's love. See,
since I was 6 years old. You know what I mean? So it's like we knew that as soon as they were born, we're gonna get our kids passports and we're gonna let them see the world because we're blessed to do it. We're blessed to be able to do it, and we're gonna do it. So it wasn't even a hesitation in that sense. We were just like we wanted to go back to see the world ourselves, and we wanted to bring our new little family with us. So it
let
was.
me ask you a question. And I love it too. You know why? Because you may have not. I don't know if you've seen any of our lives outside of maybe the one that I sent you as a reference, but you have said so many things and just like opening that I get on here and say all of the time. So anybody that's watching this is probably like, okay, so he's not just making this up. Like you talked about one doing the homework and the legwork, like you already had been traveling and everything else, and but you talked about even preparing your children. I tell people all the time, like, you've got to prepare yourself for life abroad before you actually go,
Yeah.
because it's going to be like, not, I won't say ripping a band-aid off, but it's just different. And if you come with the mindset of very rigid, like, I'm not going to change, I things need to be a certain way, if it's not done this way, then you are not going to have a good time at all. And even you guys being travelers and raising little travelers, that, I mean, it sounds like the COVID and quarantine gave you two beautiful children, and then you were like, okay, so I got these two kids during COVID and quarantine, and then we're out because there's no way I'm staying here. And I wanted to talk about that because you are a traveler before you were a parent. But when you became a parent during COVID, during quarantine, and you considered life in America, were there some things that came up where you were like, we've got kids now, I've got to look at life in America completely different than I have in the past, and I may need to look to raise my kids overseas in whatever place that is that I need to go to?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I kind of have a heavy answer to that. As we know,
So
during the pandemic, the political standpoint in America was really crazy. I mean, it's always crazy, but particularly in 2020, when George Floyd happened, um, that shook me to my core. That shook me to my core, and I know I'm not alone when I say everybody was feeling like enough is enough. When does it end? You know what I mean? When are we going to when are we going to be good? Like, when are we going to be able to breathe without a heaviness attached to it? So when George Floyd happened, I already had my son. I was pregnant with my daughter at the time, but um that was intense. So I would say, to answer your question, the George Floyd incident and the fallout from that, um I that kind of just, we knew of the injustices in America, right? We knew of like, there's always a hashtag every week. We knew of it, but that kind of just it changed me in the sense where, like, okay, now I'm gonna have to start explaining these things to my child. I'm gonna have to start explaining these, because before I didn't have that responsibility before,
right.
like, to explain the world we live in to an innocent kid. You know what I mean? So that kind of was like an eye opener for me. Also, I have a lot of friends who were in the education system during COVID. So, like, both, I have so many friends that are teachers and educators, and just hearing how they talked about, the education system, especially during COVID. Teachers are overworked, underpaid, they're putting their lives at risk. And it was just, everything just seemed to be like SHIT show. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I hear these like horror stories of things going on in schools, and like parents not having their right to protect their children, parents not having their right to have a say for their for what they want their children to be a part of, what they want to do, and like all these things. And I was just like, okay, this is looking real ghetto. America is looking very ghetto. It's not some place that, like, this doesn't have to be the end all be all for us. We've been to other countries that we really love, that more aligns with our values and our morals at this point.
Hmm.
Let's explore that. Let's check that out, because just the way things were going at that time during the pandemic, and then of course we were all locked inside. And
That was
I don't
tough.
know if you're familiar with New York, but like New York is not a great place to be cooped up in your house. You know what I mean? We don't
No,
have.
it's an out. It's like go outside all the
Yeah,
time because you're like you said, a shoebox. You could be living in an
exactly.
expensive shoebox
Exactly. So
with
it was
no
also
view.
that with that part. So add all of that together, it was just like the bubble popped. The bubble popped for us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we know we don't want to raise our kids in this political climate. We know we don't want our kids to be, you know, falsely identified because of the racial injustices that's going on in the police department and all this other stuff. We know, so, and I know we can't shield our kids from that because it's just a part of the world. There's racism all over the world because of
All over.
colonialism and imperialism. We can't shield our kids from that, but I just feel like it's particularly intense in America. Like anytime I left America as a black woman, I didn't like, no one ever told me that I was a black woman. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, you're American. Oh, it was kind of like they,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear
Hold
me?
on 1 second. Stand by. I got a message that says the recording stopped. So let me just
Oh,
refresh
okay,
and bear with me 1 second. We'll get back in.
sure.
Uh,
Oh, I can't hear your audio now. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? You can hear me? Okay, I can't hear you.
hello, 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 hello.
Hmm.
There we go. Sorry about that. Technology fails, but we prevail. Not a words. I did not mean to interrupt you, but I know I want to make certain that we get this. So all good. Yeah, you were talking about we're talking about something. My bad. I
Oh,
interrupted.
I was just saying, I was answering your question. What was it that came up during the pandemic? Were there things
Ah,
that came
yeah,
up during the
yeah.
pandemic that made me have that light bulb aha moment? And I was saying,
Hmm.
one for the yes, I have many answers to that question. But to
Don't get it.
simplify it for the call, for this conversation, the George Floyd incident really solidified for me that I do not want to be in this country anymore, because I have two black children, a black son, a black daughter, and I don't want to be exhausted explaining to them the racial climate that exists in this country just because of the color of their skin. I can't, I know I can't shield them from racism and ignorant people, but if
Hmm.
I can control it a little bit longer, I want to do that because children are innocent. They don't need to be subjected to someone's ignorance. And as we know, there's a lot of ignorant people in America, and that ignorance can also be fatal. That ignorance can be fatal. That ignorance can come with damning consequences. And I don't want to be the mother that has to make a hashtag for my kid because of some ignorant person. So that's number one. Number two, I was in New York in, like you said, the view in the cold. I'm living amongst huge rats. Well, no, I had no rats in my area, but New York is known for rats. Rats who eat
Yeah,
pizza.
big
You know what
ones. They
I'm
like the size of a raccoon. It's a
saying?
raccoon.
You know what I'm saying? The rat. You
Hmm.
know. So it's like you're in New York City, you're in the hustle and bustle. It's not a beautiful sight to see, things. Oh, also, I didn't even talk about the expenses. Things are expensive. The cost of daycare is also the cost of your mortgage. Let's be real.
I
Um,
said the exact words last night. You've been watching or something because you literally, I'm telling you, I've told these people this exactly, and you're hearing it from a whole and other mouth that is echoing everything that I'm telling you. And
like,
it's like there's 50 reasons why I could tell you. It's not
like
just one.
not just one. Everything is just a premium in America. Like everything is a premium. You know what I mean? Food is a
Mm-hmm.
premium. Clothing is a premium. Let's not even talk about the cost of healthcare is a premium. Transportation is a premium. Living is a premium. There's no breaks.
Nope.
So if you're a single parent or if you're in a one income household living in America with multiple kids, life gets a little bit hard. And so it was that is and just the rising cost of everything. Also, we wanted to be somewhere warm. We didn't want to be in winter anymore. We wanted to kind of just be able to like the sun is shining on us. You know what I mean?
You see behind me.
I see
It's a
it. I see
beautiful
it. It looks
sunset.
like, it looks like a filter, but it's not. It's real. You know what I mean? It's
Nope.
real. Once you get out, it's real. So like just all of those things. And also we knew that we didn't want to we knew that we didn't want to enroll our children in the Department of Education. We knew that we didn't want it was either homeschool, world school, but it
Hmm.
wasn't it wasn't enrolling in school. Yeah, we weren't going to enroll our kids in school just because of everything that we've heard about the school districts. Like I mentioned before, I have a ton of friends and family members who are educators, um,
Hmm.
and just hearing about what they deal with and how they treat children and not being able to have autonomy over your child as a parent was something that my husband and I were not really into.
Hmm.
So we knew for sure we didn't want to raise our kids in the school system. Um, and yeah, all of those things. And then on top of, just wanting to see more and do more and, be more places, especially since we did this before in 2018. So yeah. And
Nah,
just
that's
raise our kids just with a vast mind, just knowing how big the world is and how possibilities truly are endless. Like you can really believe those quotes that you hear, like the sky's the limit, possibilities when you leave your bubble. If you're
you
in your
actually.
bubble,
It
most
sounds
people are
cliche,
like,
but
it
it's like
sounds good, but like,
it's so true. Like I literally said, you could be the caterpillar that turns into the butterfly once you get out of the United States, and it's like that sounds like something on you got a shirt that off of Etsy, and it says like, but I'm like, yo, this is like
it's
really true. Like I'm trying to tell you all the
yeah.
time.
What travel does for your mind as an adult, if travel really gives you a sense of fulfillment as an adult, imagine what it can do as a child. Like if that's your baseline, if your baseline is wow, my it's like so vast and so big and it takes up so much space. If that's your baseline,
Hmm.
imagine when you grow up to be an adult, how your thinking would be, how you know what I mean, how open you would be to trying new things. Like you'll be fearless. And we want to
People are
raise
nervous about that.
yeah, we want
They're
to
nervous of the
fearless.
unknown, but they don't realize what you're saying is 100% facts. They're worried about, how is my kid going to experience, life abroad? They don't speak Spanish, and I'm like, you are literally hindering your child from a better life than what it is that you may have been given because of your fear. Because
Yeah,
of you not speaking Spanish, because these kids that come down here, they pick up Spanish really, 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 really quick,
so
and they
fun.
will start out talking you in a heartbeat, and
Yeah.
you're sitting there struggling with past tense, future tense, and they're like just speaking fluently. And I know there's so many parents that may be watching this and are going to watch this, and it's like, all of the concerns. I literally went I was going home, but I went through I was going to Atlanta, but I went through Panama, and I saw some kids. I could tell they were like American kids, and they were running around the Panama's airport or whatever. But then when we got to Atlanta, was on the little air tram place to get a car, whatever the case is. And they were like, "Are you guys following us?" I'm like, "Nah." So we got talking to the parents, and literally they were like, "Yeah, we love Panama. We were thinking about Colombia, but I don't think it's good for children and Medellin and stuff." And I'm like, what are you talking about? Did somebody tell you something that isn't true? Because it sounds like it. You know, you coming from New York, I always kind of compare and try to give a city comparison. And I'm like, Medellin is kind of like a Colombia in New York because you've got these neighborhoods where you can 100% thrive in them and not have to leave. Like, you know, I live in Lorellis and I treat it like, you know, my little Brooklyn. Like, yo, if it's not in Brooklyn, don't invite me. Like, I don't want to, you know. So literally, you literally just switch the temperature and the language and everything else for almost your own little version of New York.
Yeah, yeah.
Hold on one second. Got
And
this. Nah, it's good. I just had to close that call.
but yeah, when parents say that, if there are any parents watching this now that may be thinking that way, I would just encourage you not to project your own fears and anxieties onto your children, because kids are so resilient and they will shock you. They will shock you. You'll end up pulling strength and resilience from them because they're so resilient. There's so many times like here, like I'm afraid to like, you know, do something with my kids because I'm like, I don't know, it might not be good. And my kids are like, Mom, relax, we're okay. Like this is gonna be fun. Be excited with
Yeah.
us. It's gonna be fun, right? And then you're
Colombian kids are fearless. They like they enjoy themselves in a way where you get sheltered in the United States. You know, it's like everybody becomes this helicopter hover person, and then you see these kids in the United States outside of the United States that are literally living their best life.
best lives. And
Best life.
I have to say, like, it was something that I had to get used to as a parent. I had to unlearn the helicopter mom. You said it perfectly. I had to unlearn it. There's a freedom that Colombian kids have here that I hadn't seen in the US since maybe like our generation. You know what I mean? Like we
Mhm.
probably the last generation that went outside to play,
Went outside.
played all day until the lights came on and you went
Yep.
back to your house. You know what I mean? Like Colombians still have that level of zealousness to be outside. And they have that freedom and that self awareness, and they have the confidence. They have so much confidence because how do kids gain confidence? Through play. You know what I mean? Like through
Yep.
little kids, like through play and being with their peers and being outside and trying new things and going on the monkey bars and falling and getting back up and doing it again and going fast. You know what I mean?
You gave me a flashback. You said monkey bars and falling. That was the first time I knocked out a wind out of my system, and nobody was around to help. I was just sitting there.
But hey, you did it and you got stronger, right?
Right. Walked home.
See, you walked home. But I mean, like that type of freedom is amazing to see, and I'm excited to be able to grow, to nurture that spirit in our kids as they get older. Like they're still small, they're still young, but as they get older, I'm going to nourish that, freedom. I'm going to nourish their confidence. I'm going to nourish that, like, go, it's okay. Get back up there. Do your thing. I'm not going to helicopter like I was in the States. I definitely had to unlearn that. Um, and it's been a journey, but it's definitely something that I'm starting to embrace now. Like, not being a helicopter mom, not letting your guard down, and
Nah, nah,
always
nah. I
making
got you.
sure,
It's a
but
fine line.
sense of allowing our kids to be kids and play and have that confidence and kind of go out and do their thing, like that for sure. I'm embracing for sure. Hmm.
Nah, and that's what I tell people. Like it's such a different life. I feel like the life in the United States is very like it's just is what it is. You know, there's your tablet, there's your your video games. You know, these kids are. Before you got on, I was like, kids your age. I see them out when I go to home, and literally they just are sitting in front of the tablet. They've got their headphones on. The parent
Hmm.
needs to say something to them. They got to move the headphone. Hey, little buddy, you need something to drink? They're like, no, right back to it.
Yeah.
And when I go here, we can get into, what you guys do. But I know when I go to the malls here, the malls are like the malls of yesteryear. You go there, there's all this stuff to do. Most people aren't even shopping when you go to the mall here. There's because there's so much stuff to do. And literally, there's like right now it's Christmas, so there's like huge installations. They might have a ice skating rink put up. I know, have you guys been to, I don't know, I can't remember what mall it is, but on top they have a mini golf, go karts and the largest indoor trampoline park in South America. It's like $3 to get in, $2 for like go karts.
What? I have not been to that mall.
Man, it's super cool. I'm like, I'm a big kid, so I was in there having a great time, but doing everything. And there was like so many children that were outside, like just running around playing. Y'all remember running around
Running
playing?
around. Running
Your,
around.
your, your mom would lock you outside and say, "Don't come in this house," and you
Yeah.
would just be outside and going on walks. And like the kids aren't doing that, which you see so many kids having introvertedness when it comes down to interacting with other children. You mentioned the pandemic and the quarantine and everything, where everything was virtual, so that kind of hyper zoomed them right into, all right, everything we have to do is got to be on my phone and everything else. And I'm telling you, when you you could give yourself 1,000 reasons not to move, but they will all be the reasons why you're looking to move. It would all lead back to the reasons why you're looking to move. We're from the north, and we know people that won't leave the north but hate the cold. And every winter, they're the most miserable person you've ever met. They're like, bah humbug, but they won't leave. And it's just like, I would tell people, you got to make a decision now. We went through the quarantine and the pandemic. You made a move and said, after this, we out of here. And now it's another crossroads for people. My phone has been blowing up. So we went to Skybox in Larelis for the election night. So we're all in there, having a good time. Drink specials. Quick. That was a party. Quickly turned into a funeral. Turned
Yeah.
into a funeral. I asked my man Tim now. I said, what kind of party is this, man? What's going on the TV? And I went to sleep like, I don't, maybe I wake up and everything will be fine. And I woke up and my phone was just consistently blowing up because people were like, I didn't expect this to happen. And we have seen, and it seems longer than only 1 month. And I'm not even there. I'm talking to the people, and the news that I'm getting, as well as talking to the people, they're literally like, this is getting crazier, and he's not even in office yet. And now people are at another crossroad. What is it do I do? It's already $100 a bag of groceries you do anything extra on top of that with
Mhm.
tariffs and all of this other stuff. Some of the people that get it put in place, maybe people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to leave the country for the next 4 years and then come back. And I'm like, what are you going to come back to if everything they have on agenda is going to get done? So all of these things are weighing on people in the crossroads because it's easy for somebody single, somebody is just when you guys were just backpackers, it's easy for you guys to say, you ready to go? And we just get on out and you just go. But people with children, they've got to worry about homeschooling, what that looks like. I do know some kids out here that do homeschool. Um, the schools that are available to you here. Now we're gonna get into something, and it's really about what do you do with all of the money that you have extra that you couldn't do in the United States. Because I got a buddy, shout out to the Carters. They literally, he told me, he's like, yeah, I got both my boys in horseback riding. It's like $100 a month or something like that. And I'm like, horseback riding for 100? What? I'm like, you cannot even go in a petting zoo for a month pass for that amount of time. So you talked about everything from how much it costs to put your child in daycare and everything else. You might be able to afford a nanny now. Like, are you guys doing things, with the money that you're not spending on just bare necessities to even better enhance your kids' lives?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's crazy. Like, and it's funny. I was just talking to, I met some other moms yesterday, and we were just talking about how we're able to just like expose our kids to all these amazing things here that we probably wouldn't have been able to do in America just because the price of it all, especially if you have multiple children, because it's
Mm-hmm.
like double everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my kids, they're doing it all. They're doing it all. Okay. We have my kids are in jujitsu, they're in dance. We did have a nanny, but since I put my kids in part-time, like I'm world schooling, so I'm doing a combination of homeschool and world schooling. So I got rid of my nanny because I have them in school as well. Fraction of the cost of what it was for daycare for one child in the States.
Can you tell them how much it is? Because they some people need to like hear numbers, and because it may vary, but numbers are super important. Because when you compare, I'm spending $5,000 a month for two children to be in daycare, and I'm only spending $300 a month for two children.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so my kids go to school part-time. They're in school three days a week, and school here, they come out at 12. So actually no, Monday and Wednesday they're in school from 8 to 4 p.m. and on Friday they're in school until 12. Now it's Christmas break, so it's a little bit different now. But
Hmm.
typically on a weekly basis, we pay weekly. On a weekly basis, it's 267,000 pesos, which translates to about 67 US dollars. So 20 hours a week, we pay 67 US dollars for two kids in
Okay.
school all day. Two
I
kids
said less
in
than
school.
$300 a month for
Well,
two children. I didn't even know. I just guessed. That's
yeah, and just to give you a sense of what I was paying for school, for paying for daycare for my son in America. My son in America was about $2,500 a month in daycare. And that was at a discount. That was at a discount.
daycare people getting it
$2,500
back in
a month.
blood.
Yeah, $2,500 a month. So between that and swimming classes that we had my son in, and like the mommy and me classes, you're easily pushing like 3,000, over $3,000 a month for one child. My daughter was a little tot at that point, so she wasn't in anything. But just to give you that. So if we average on, if I can say what the cost is to have my kids in activities on a monthly basis here in Medellin for two children,
Mhm.
it's under $500. Under $500. And they go weekly, like two classes a week type situation.
It's
Under
crazy.
$500 to have two kids in school, plus their activities on top of that, swimming, dance, jujitsu, just
They
to
could
give you,
fight, they could swim, and they smart. That's crazy.
you know,
Under
so it's
five
just
hundred
like just to
dollars.
let you know kind of what the price structure is. It's a no-brainer. If you're a parent watching
I'm
this,
trying
just
to tell.
if you're even if you're scared, just think about it from a financial standpoint. Like think about your pockets will thank you. So it's like, and we're able to go out to eat more. Like if I don't want to cook, we don't have to go. We're able to go out to eat more. We're able to go see things. We're able to go to on like excursions as a family within Colombia. Like for Christmas, we're going to Santa Fe. You know what I mean? Like we're able to do those things because the money is money. The money is moneying for us, which is great. I mean, before in the States, it'd have to be like one or the other. Like
Yep.
we can either do this or that. Here, you can
Yep.
do both. You can do both for both kids, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Did you guys learn to know Spanish before you guys moved here?
No, I still don't speak Spanish fluently. I'm learning.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the
Got
reasons why we put our kids in school because we wanted to give them the Spanish immersion that we can't provide.
Mm-hmm.
So my husband and I, we don't speak Spanish. We only speak English, but we're both learning, and
Yeah.
our kids are also learning. Our kids are learning faster than us because their daycare is 100% Spanish. There's no English speakers there, so
Mm.
they come back and they teach us a new word every day, basically.
Wait,
But yeah,
wait till they start ganging up on y'all. I'm like,
they're
you're gonna like, what are they talking about over there? I'm like, I don't
gonna start,
know.
they're gonna start talking crap about us, and we're not gonna know what they're saying.
That's what I'm trying to
That's
tell
like
you.
they're gonna start talking shit real soon.
Nah, that let
Yeah.
me. Did you have guidance when you said you were doing the world school thing? Did you have any guidance, or did you just happen to find it a good one that fit what you felt comfortable? Because you said, hey, there was things in America. I was like, I don't want my kids learning. How did you kind of look into that and say line it up, especially not speaking Spanish?
Yeah. So you mean in terms of like our homeschooling routine and curriculum, how we even
Well, no, the outside thing. You said you take them to world school, so they go 2 or 3 times a week. How did you determine which of the options to send them to? What was that
yeah.
process like?
So it was really just based on proximity. We wanted to be
Ah,
somewhere that we can walk our kids to school every day, that was close, that we can pop in, we can pick them up. It
mhm.
was pretty flexible in terms of time and days. because we didn't want them to be in full time. We and the when we spoke to the director, we went to visit some places.
Okay.
And when we spoke to the director, we loved the energy, we loved the warmth. The teachers were there, so we were able to kind of like see their style and talk to the
Good.
teachers. And yeah, proximity, warmth, um, and kind of not even, I wouldn't say curriculum too much because we homeschool, but it was more so like what they allow the kids to do every day. And we kind of we like a Montessori approach generally.
Okay.
And the school that we went to talked a lot about like having the kids kind of lead the way in
Okay.
terms of their curiosity, like whatever's sparking their curiosity, we go with that.
Hmm.
And I like that approach. So all those things kind of, and of course the price. So all those things kind of made our decision to send them where we send them like super easy. Mhm.
Healthcare. I mean, I know about the healthcare, but I know a lot of people are saying like, I'm an adult, but what about my children? Like, healthcare wise, have you run into guys like, hey, having to go to a doctor or call the doctor in? What was
Yeah.
that like?
Um, Healthcare honestly is not that different. I mean, there's doctors all over the world because there's kids all over the world, right? There's pediatricians all over the world because there are children all over the world thriving, just like how they are in America, right? But yeah, we had to take our kids to the doctor before. We actually had to take my both kids to the hospital. This was last year in Cartagena. But yeah, you just go in normal. Obviously, we have our healthcare is covered through our travel insurance, so we have
Hmm.
travel insurance, Allianz through
Yep.
Allianz Global. So we took them. It was very simple, very straightforward, no hidden costs, no hidden costs, which was thank you God.
Everything right there.
When you go to the hospital in America, a cup of water is a hidden cost, and that's $60. You know what I mean? There was no hidden cost. Everything was like
Advil, fifteen
straightforward.
dollars a pill.
Exactly, exactly. The first thing I would say is how accessible hospitals and urgent cares and physicians are here. That's why I don't like to think of Colombia as a third world country. Like when
You've been
people say
watching.
that,
You've been watching. There's no way you've not been watching. You literally still in my
we
material.
just share the same sentiment, but like it's just like it's mind boggling to think. First of all, that's a very derogatory term, so I hate saying like countries like
Personally.
third world country, right? It sounds very elitist, and I don't like that term, but I don't like to think of Colombia in that light because of how accessible things are. It's very accessible to get. If my son had a cavity, we made an appointment with the dentist, and that was it. You pay out of pocket. We paid out of pocket, and we send everything back to our health insurance, and they reimburse us based on that.
How much did you pay for that cavity out of pocket? Because
Yep.
I know it was low.
$60.
60 US dollars.
Mhm.
That so I saw something on Twitter the other day, X, whatever y'all want to call yourselves.
Mhm.
I literally saw the other day somebody said, "So what does dental insurance actually cover again?" You pay for dental insurance and you get like 2 free cleanings, and then everything else is
You have to pay a copay.
super extra
Yeah, like some dentists, your copay is $20 every time you go. You know what I mean? Like
every
this is
time.
$60.
And then they hit you with the America loves specialists, but you can't get to the specialist without going to your PCP. So you got
Mhm.
to go to the guy that knows the guy that says, yo, you can go to the guy. And usually the guy here is like, no, you can just go straight to the guy. You can get this things. You don't have to go through the healthcare gamut of let me pay this copay. And I've had a doctor come to my house, and that was such an amazing thing because it cost me $40. And I'm like, to go into urgent care with insurance is $60. You get 5 minutes of doctor time, 20 minutes in the cold waiting room, 10
Yep.
minutes with a nurse, 5 minutes with a doctor,
Yep.
$60, slap you on your butt, give you a prescription, go to CVS. Now you spend another $40.
Yep.
It's like when do we stop? You guys just do y'all want me here? Because if I didn't have no money, I would not be able to get any help.
Let me tell you something. I can't even oh my God. I can't even I'm listening and I'm just like thinking in my head, like, wow, there's still people that's going through that and doing that.
Y'all, the ones that are on the other side, you guys are still going through that. And we bring these conversations to light because America will normalize BS. And we have been used to so much BS that we think that because it's America first, it's America's the greatest. This place is a third world country. And when the third world country thing comes up, I always like, what do you think America is to other people? People tell me what the America's safeties. You said, go to Jamaica, don't go to Colombia because of X, Y, and Z. And I said, well, what have you looked at what Europe and or Canada says about travel to the United States with the number of mass incidents that go around? Because none of those places that you guys are saying, and you can go to so many countries that Americans have off their radar, and none of this stuff, none of the mass incidents, none of the children being indoctrinated from a young daycare, first grade, to saying, hey, this is what happens when a mass incident happens and you're in school. Like, this is things that you guys are literally willing to put your children through, willing to put your own mental health through,
Yep.
just to say that you still live there. You said everything was a premium. I was like, everything is a premium. Your shirt is a premium. The shoes are a premium. And you keep buying more stuff and more things
You're
and not getting any further in life.
Yeah, you're paying more for a lower quality of life.
More for a lot.
Literally.
You've been watching.
More for a lower quality of life. Ugh, preach.
It's it's nuts. I'm just glad we are the same ilk and understanding, because it's good to. They might think that I'm crazy and eccentric, but they just like, hey, this is just they don't know you. I'm on here every time saying the exact same things with the exact same amount of energy, and it's coming organically out of your mouth. So I appreciate it, because you guys know that the truth is on this platform. You guys are literally getting the truth and
Yeah.
what is behind the wizard's curtain.
Yeah.
Now I'll
Yeah.
tell you. I love Medellin. I tell people in Colombia and, like, with in regards to the US, I'm not coming back. But I'll be honest with you. There's some things that I miss. Some things that I miss. Do you miss anything in the United States? You could be honest with me.
Sure, for sure. Absolutely. I
Talk
miss
to
my
me.
people, miss my family, my
Friends
close
and family
friends.
first.
I
Got
miss
you.
certain foods, of course. I miss certain foods that, I can't find here. Certain
What
brands.
can't you find here that you miss?
One, it's funny. I was looking for tahini because I wanted to make hummus. I couldn't find tahini. Or like, and
Too much
someone said go to
Mediterranean.
a store. Someone said go to a store. I think it's Cueva Mundo,
Okay.
and it was like, which is a grocery store here, and they normally have tahini, but because it's Christmas and everyone is shopping and buying stuff, they didn't have it in stock. So I was like, rats. I also miss Target. I love Target. Love Target. I also miss Target. And yeah, like little certain things, wine rolls. I miss those, like things that you can't really find because it's like specialty. And like,
Exceso azucares, as it would always say. If you saw a Hawaiian rose here, it's going to say excessive sugar on the package if they had it.
yes,
You know what they? No, hold on. They have Hawaiian rolls here, homegirl.
I
Hold on
didn't
now.
see it. Where?
Now you gotta go. Listen, you got to go to Price Smart. Price Smart has
Okay,
international
okay.
food options.
Everyone's telling me that everything I'm looking for is I don't have a membership, so maybe I got to get a membership to go to PriceSmart because that's what I hear. I hear a
Yeah,
lot of
you
people
do.
reported to.
Hold on one second. I got another recording to stop. We're not gonna be on here for too much longer, but I do want to at least make sure we get the last. So
Oh
bear
yeah,
with me one second. I just got to refresh.
go ahead.
Stand by.
This is so fun, by the way.
Um. Hopefully my internet won't fail me too much. We won't be on here for too much longer because we are getting almost close to the 3 o'clock hour. But I want to make certain that you guys feel comfortable. Moving with your kid, that is something that is not a lot of people are like, I have a kid, I can't do it. I get it.
Yes, you
I get it.
can. You can. Mm, 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 mm.
I'm talking to TikTok, by the way. I'm not talking to myself. They on the other phone over here. That's the one
Oh,
people I don't have for. Um, so yeah, you need to get Price Smart or find a friend with Price Smart. They have beef hot dogs. They have Hebrew Nationals. I'm saying don't tell anybody, and I'm saying this on like 5 different platforms because I hate when they're out. But they
okay,
have like
get a price smart thing because I was just like, there's the things that our grocery stores. We've got Exito, we've got Carulla, we've got Euro Market, we've got
Carulla.
Mundo Cuevo.
Carulla is
Um,
Korea is when you want to go, when you want to feel like you're back in America as far as prices, go
Yeah,
to Korea. That
yeah.
should be
That's like
their
the Whole Foods.
slogan.
That's like the whole. That's like it's like the
You can
Whole
spin
Foods.
a bag in Korea quick.
Definitely can. You definitely can. They also got Tienda D1, the Ara market. Ara, Ara, Ara. I like Ara. Ara's good. But my favorite, which I haven't gone to in America. Oh, I didn't grocery shop this way in America. Minorista and Mayorista.
Yes. Shout out to Michelet. Shout out to
Yeah,
Michelet. She get you right.
yeah, like the
They got the
Minorista,
deals.
the Mayorista, you
Deals.
could you could just stock up
Deals.
fresh, cheap. It's just
Strawberries.
like, you know what I mean?
Oxtail was $1.25 a pound.
Well, it doesn't even need to say organic because when you go see the produce, it still has the roots attached to them. That's to tell you,
It might
like,
have some dirt on the potatoes. Like you might the rutabaga got the rutabaga roots
yeah,
just hanging out.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's real food
Mhm.
that can't, like, that's as close as you can get from farm to table as you can get. Like, they pick it in the morning, they bring it to the market to sell to
And it's
wholesale.
sold out by the afternoon. So you got to
Sold
get
out
there in
on
the
it,
morning
fresh.
because you're gonna
Everything
have
is
whatever. Right, man. That's what I'm saying. Like we went over so like the cost. I tell people about the food because people are so concerned about what they're putting in their bodies, what they're putting in their children's bodies, and
Mhm.
it's like you said. Well, it does if it says organic, and it's like behind the wizard's curtain, organic, dolphin free. Those are just it's just somebody gave some money and just slap it on there. When you actually go into the processing plant, you
Yep,
find out that none of those things are organic. You
yep,
find out that even Whole Foods organic fruits and the things of that nature have like plastic coatings and random pesticides being grown with. It's
yep,
12 hours of sunlight here in Medellin a day. If anybody knows anything about botany, that's the perfect time. It's eternal spring. It's
yep,
75 degrees right now. It's about to be Christmas.
yep,
So
yep.
all of these things factor in to living abroad. I tell you the one thing that I miss, and I didn't realize it, I was going to miss this. Well, it's two things. One, a good salad. They don't
Well,
really
make a
they
salad
do
though.
salad here, but I feel like the salads like sometimes they be hit or miss. They do like wash lettuce a lot. Sometimes you might get a wet salad. Whereas I feel like in the United States we do salads a little right and salad dressing.
Okay. You can make your salad though. You make your salads.
No, I can, but I like going somewhere and getting some salad.
Getting it done. I do. I hear what
But
you're
y'all
saying.
want me to work.
I hear what you're saying though, because I don't see like arugula and like
You
you
get
know
that like
fish.
lettuce that you gotta wash and then it be all flimsy. Like
Yeah, I do see. I don't see the crisp greens that we're used to here a lot. So you're right
different
about that.
stuff.
You're right. You gotta kind of like
Different stuff.
tap around in the minorista to get yourself and then make it yourself for sure.
Yeah, you got to literally go around with your Spanish, asking for things in the metric system. Don't go
Mm-hmm.
asking for pounds because everything is in kilos and things of that nature.
So,
Uh,
what else did
so
you miss? You said salad and what was your
it was salad and salad dressing. Good
oh salad
salad and
dressing?
salad dressing. So I literally going to Mexico and my folks that's coming to Mexico, they got a bag full of everything. I got my beard stuff that I can't get down here. I
Mm,
have
yeah,
hot sauce. I have salad dressings. A bunch of random like stuff that you just can't get. That is,
here.
it's minor.
Add
I'm not
that,
moving back to the states for it.
add that to the list of things. Hair care. I have locks. It's hard to find hair care for textured hair here in Colombia. I would say that too. I do miss
You
that.
gotta go tap back into Miss Chalet because
I
Miss
have
Chalet
tapped into
got
her. I've tapped into her. I'm running low. I got her hair oil and all that stuff. I'm just running a little low, but I do miss the
nah.
variety of having different things for the hair. But
Get you a good friend with some carry-on space, and they and give them a Christmas list to bring it on
yep,
back, bring
that's
it on back. And it's like you miss these little things, but it's not something where I'm like I'm about to stay in America for salads and salad dressing
yeah.
or certain like nah, I'm out. Y'all
I'll
got
make do
you
without
got
it.
all the time you gonna get out of me.
No,
Seriously,
I'll make do without it. I'm not going back. I'm not going back for.
I'm
I
not
mean, of
going
course,
back.
I would go back to visit my peoples, but
Visit,
they know I'm not
yeah.
doing it. My peoples
Treat it
know I'm
like
not.
a long distance lover. I see
Yeah,
you when I see you. I tell my friends and family, y'all stay alive and stay warm every time. I'm only visit from about April to about maybe October, the first week of October or so, and then I'm like, stay alive and stay warm. Because I don't want to come back here. I will be back if you guys something happens, but please don't bring me here for a funeral because I have to go. I gotta go from here. I gotta go to Florida. I gotta go get a coat, my hat, my scarf, and then I gotta get to Philadelphia. And I'm like, man, we doing a lot. I'm in 3 different places, and none of them I want to be at. So, literally. Now, before I let you go, you just say your kids were young, and with what it is that you've seen here, do you see, kind of two-part question, one, you guys staying in Medellin longer, looking to be here, and then two, letting them grow up abroad. 4 and 3, they're young now, but soon they're going to be 7 and 6, and they're going to be looking into sports and things of that nature. Are you guys? Because I know some people are like, well, they want to play sports, so I got to take them back to the United States to play sports, and I'm like,
Oh no. Right. Just like what you said, we're not about to move back to America so my kid can shoot a basketball. Like no. No. There are baskets and there are balls here. You know, like no. No, like no, we're not about to move. But just to answer your question, we are obviously, we're taking it day by day, month by month. Right now, we are very comfortable with the idea of having them stay in Medellin longer. One, because we want Spanish to be entrenched in our children. We want them to
yeah,
be bilingual fully. So that's one. And two, we've started to build a nice, cute community here. Like, friends of trusted individuals. So God forbid anything happens to myself or my husband, we have someone that can call that can watch the kids for an hour or so. You know what I mean? Like we
nah,
built
that's
like a
dope.
trusted
Dope,
community
yeah.
here. Um, and also we love it. We love the culture of like the Colombian culture and
Mm-hmm.
how it's rooted in family, it's rooted
Yep.
in friends, it's rooted in kindness. Like the people in Medellin are so kind and generous and friendly. Like we love it. And our kids love it. They're super comfortable. They're basically Colombian at this point. You know what I mean? Like
Bienvenido.
they're picking up the language. They have their friends. They have their routines here. So whereas before our original plan was to go back to America when our kids become school age, because we were like, okay, we want to homeschool, but we want to homeschool aligned with the U.S. Department of Education system. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like if we wanted, like, if my son is like older, if he's 12 and he's like, you know what, mommy, I kind of do want to experience school. It'll
Mm-hmm.
be easy to enroll him in school. So that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
what we were thinking. But there's so many coming out of COVID. The beautiful thing that happened from COVID, amongst all the destruction, was a lot of the homeschooling curriculums have moved remote.
Nice.
So like you can enroll in a school district in New York, you can enroll in a school district in Maryland, and be 100% remote and be 100% online with what they're doing physically in schools. So that's an
That's
option.
dope.
Um, and we're still exploring the options as they're still in pre-K, like pre-K.
Yeah.
So we still have time to kind of make those decisions. But yeah, we don't plan on going back to the States. We sold things off because we don't plan on going back to
Everything
the
must
States.
go.
We
Everything,
would,
literally, the
yeah,
5x5 storage unit, everything in there must go. So
yeah,
there's I'm literally like, Florida, you guys want some things? Because I don't want anything besides my coat. I gotta go home. I need my coat.
get your tone right. But yeah, like to answer your question, we don't plan on going back. I
That's
would
dope.
go back, if anything extreme happens, like if my
Hmm,
parents
hmm,
are,
hmm.
fall ill or something like that, I would go back. But for the most part, we didn't plan on going back. We plan to stay in Medellin for a couple of more months. We plan to be here until the spring, and then we're gonna, keep traveling on because you can only be in here. We don't have like a long-term visa. We just kept doing the extension. We did the extension, and then luckily January 1st kind of comes and wipes everything out. So then we'll stay
Yep.
here for that again, and then do a second extension, and then so when our time fully comes up, then we're gonna move on to another country. Hmm. But
So
we
you
plan.
definitely. a lot of people think, and because they don't know that what their passport does for them. So a lot of countries you can get 180 days in the calendar year without any additional paperwork. The nomad visa is up to 2 years, but it's not a permanent situation. It's like short term to continue to see if this is where you want to be, and then you can look into long term options. So
Yeah.
it
And
doesn't have to be permanent, guys.
doesn't
What
have
was
to
that?
be permanent. And the last thing I was gonna say was the long term. And my husband and I just had this idea like literally last week. So we're going after Medellin. We have to go to a wedding in Bali. We're actually in a wedding in Bali. So when we go, we're gonna go over to Asia, be in Asia for a bit, and then we're gonna come back to a South American country because we want to continue getting the Spanish. Um, but he said, why don't we look to, since we love Colombia so much, we can actually, you can, I didn't know this either. You can get another visa, like an investor's visa, if you choose to buy property here. And that can last like 5 years or something like that.
Yep. Yep.
So that's something that we're going to be looking into because we love it so much. This could be a home base for us to have like some roots here, like, investing in some property.
You're stealing
So
all my material. I'm trying to
after
tell
we
you.
go, sorry, y'all. um, this is Sherelle mood. I'm just kidding, no, but
That's real rap.
right. Um, but yeah, like so that's something that we're gonna be looking to do later in 2025.
That's love.
Like yeah, maybe in the third quarter of 2025 when we come back from
I'm in the
Asia,
same
that's
boat.
what we're gonna be looking to do. Like putting some roots
Yeah.
down here because we truly adore
That's what I'm
Medellin.
like. Colombia is where I want to be, and I just have to find my path to a long term visa because I'm not saying that I'm going to stop and not go anywhere else because I do travel all the time. I'm always traveling somewhere. But from a home base, if I wanted to go purchase a place, it would not be in the United States, not for myself to live. And here, I just I just see so much more of a happier life for myself than putting myself back into the box that America built for me. So,
Yeah.
Sherelle, I really appreciate you for coming on. Coming out from behind the wizard's curtain, giving these people what it is that they need, because so many people are willing to take social media and give it a 20-second spin and expect people to understand what they actually need to think about, what they actually need to do in regards to the plight that they're in. They're in America and they're not happy, but there's options. There's options whether you're a single person. There's options if you have children. We will continue to have these kind of discussions because they are important. I appreciate you taking your time out during the middle of the day, away from your family, to be able to pour into other people. So this will be on YouTube. We will get it put up. Don't you guys worry. We will be back. Shoot, it's 2:10. We will be back at 3 o'clock. We'll be talking about our relocation tours to Colombia, what that looks like, as well as our group trip to Jamaica at the end of March. We are on the March side. We've done January and February. We are on Wednesday. And then at 6:30, we're going to get into the 6 things that you must know to move abroad. You must know and you must do. There are 6 steps that you must actually take to move abroad. And the last step is my favorite step because it never ends. You always have to be continuously learning and continuously embracing the culture and the things that you are. So we're going to get into that tonight, right exactly back here where you are watching this. So Sherelle, thank you. Thank your family for allowing you to be away from them for about an hour dealing with the technical difficulties. And shout out to Michelle for connecting us too. I really appreciate that. You talked about the community down here, and it is a wonderful community that you guys should come be a part of. So until the 3 o'clock hour, I'm going to go take a break for a little bit, and I'll see you guys soon. Sherelle, it is a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Hope to see you guys soon as well. We got to meet in
Yes, of
person.
course. Invite me back. I'm always happy to yap on somebody's platform. So I'm
Nah,
happy.
I got you because there's going to be more questions and things that come up. So I'll be able to take a look at the comments and answer anything. And then we can always jump back on. These things are helpful to the people that need to hear it.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you again so much for having
Nah,
me. I hope this was helpful for some of you watching and wanting to come with your kids. Don't be afraid. Take the leap of faith.
take
All
the jump.
everything's gonna work out. Everything's gonna work out. It always does.
Nah, it definitely does. All righty now. I'll talk to you soon. I appreciate you as always. Bye
Bye.
bye.